for that. All right, I'll let you guys get off stage now. We're almost done, but I want to be very mindful. That's okay. I want to be very mindful of the fact that some people have planes to catch. Some of the Canadians have to go through customs. And so while we are running a little late, while we're wrapping things up right now, I'm just going to say a few closing things, and then Danny's going to come up. We have a really cool survey. We have some cool things to just kind of wrap things up from a feedback perspective. But if you do need to leave, if you need to catch a flight, and if you're pressed on time, we're not going to be offended if you walk away while we're ending this off. Okay, so with that said, I will trip over these. This has been amazing. We've had a packed day and a half. And I'm really hoping that this landed well with everyone. And I'm hoping that you all have something you can take away. Say, I'm going to take this back to my community. I'm going to take this back to my university, my faculty, my colleges, and whatnot. But there's a few things that I want to make sure land and we emphasize a little bit more as we talk about DSC and as we talk about you all as leaders. I've written some of them down, so I'm going to maybe go on to here. But first and foremost, Google, the organizers for DSC, will never make the mistake of saying, we know what students need. We know what your peers, your classmates, your faculties need. We know the local problems in the cities that you are studying in. We don't. And here's the kicker. You all as leads, one of your responsibilities is to find that out. To surface that. Here are the voids. Here are the needs. This is what my peers need. These are the challenges that we have in our school. And now let's work together to solve that. That's a really key piece that sometimes people forget about, that no one's going to tell you, okay, so in this city, here, go solve this problem. I don't know that. And I can say with confidence, no one on the DSC team knows that. But you as leads, that's the onus on you to figure out. So please think about that. And then one of the emphasis that I want to add is, and Deepak mentioned this a bit, why? Make sure you're true to yourself to answer the question why you're doing this. What is your intrinsic motivation behind this? Be honest to yourself. Some people will say, I'm actually doing this to network. I'm doing this to meet new people. I'm doing this to get closer to Google. I'm doing this from a corporate perspective. I'm doing this to build out my career. You're being honest about it. Some folks are like, I know there's a problem, and I want to be part of the solution. I want to build something cool. I want to build something new. I want to solve something that has impact. Whatever your rationale or justification is, my suggestion is, and I want you to remember this, be true to yourself. Make sure you yourself are not putting up a facade when you're answering that question to yourself. Be true to what your motivation is. The reality is you're all leaders. The fact that you all signed up, the fact that you took that step to commit to do something like this, you're all leaders. And as I was talking about earlier, and to make sure that this is understood by everyone, you will make mistakes. And that's completely fine. What we say is build off those mistakes. And what we say at Google a lot is iterate. Keep going. Google. How many mistakes has Google? Think of all the products Google has canceled. Let's call a spade a spade. We've had multiple failures. We're not closing down shop. We're acknowledging that. And it's one thing that Google actually does really well. We're like, yeah, you know what? This isn't working. Kill it. And that's it. And move on. So it's iterate. From a product perspective, from a program perspective, we continue doing that as well. It's like, okay, let's go at this. Let's get this going. It didn't work. Fix what didn't work and do it again. Let's just make sure you're not making the same mistakes. Understand the mistakes you're making. Understand, and this is across the board. This is beyond DSC now. This is throughout your career. Great advice for you. That don't be worried. Don't be scared to fail. Don't be scared to make mistakes. You will. That's okay. Learn from them. Move on. Everyone that spoke here today did an amazing, every single person did an amazing job. I'm glad we had the public speaking session earlier. So I saw some of those tips and tactics actually coming out in the presentations. Awesome. Everyone did a really good job of that. If there was any misstep, it's being addressed. And everyone is taking it personally at that time too. And it's really important to make sure the message lands. So thank you for all of that. We're talking about projects, and there's a lot of questions on, when we're building out this project, when we're solving these problems, what do we do? I do want to emphasize a few things on the solutions challenge. There's going to be a lot more details on that coming out. But one of the things that Gomel had mentioned earlier, I want to make sure everyone understands, is when you're looking for a problem, you can look at small businesses. You can work with local, even if it's a university problem, a community problem. Whatever it may be, just make sure as you plan out how you will solve that, how you will build that out, be real. Set proper expectations on that. Keep in mind, you're all full-time students. You are running this program, DSC program, on top of your full course load. And then on top of running this program, we're talking about, hey, there's a solution challenge. Go out and build something and solve problems. Solve a major problem. If you go to a company and they're actually, hey, this is really interesting. We have a bunch of students who are eager, who want to solve a problem. Here's a major CRM issue we're having. If you go out and set an expectation that, yeah, we are going to solve that. We have some of the brightest students. We're going to solve this. And by the way, we have 1 year to do that. If you don't get that done, it could be a business critical project for a company. And all of a sudden, that's a problem. Because now what's happened is they relied on students to solve a problem. They were promised the world. And if you don't deliver, their faith in not only students, but maybe potentially DSC, or that faith in that university gets tarnished. And be very mindful to think, what is realistic and what are some real expectations that you can set clearly? This is what I'll have. In some cases, it may just be, here's your problem. I'm going to build a prototype. Or I'm going to map out how you could potentially solve this. And this is how we're going to go further with that. So be thoughtful about that. Finally, everyone has done a really good job here in integrating and building a network and working with each other. So thank you for being very inclusive. Thank you for being very respectful. Thank you for being open to hearing other ideas. Your questions showed that. Everyone's very interested in diversity, inclusivity, and how do I build something better to make sure everyone is content and happy and feels included. So that is great. Don't let that stop you at this event. Continue working with each other, people here. There were slides showing how many DSC groups there are across the board, across the globe. Feel free to reach out to them. Danny and Madusha are great point of contacts for you to get other connections. Who else can we talk to? All the other programs, the GDG program, GDE program, the Launchpad program. Continue networking. And make it happen. Just go out and do it. Actually, I'm going to leave it at that. Make it happen.